We're good, right? All right. We're just messing around with some stuff. Hello, everybody. Episode 12, right? Yep. Because we got two left after this. So today we're going to go over what we did on Thursday. So that being shins and calves. But we're going to do the self-therapy. Use a bunch of these guys over here. And I always can use this. My calves are probably the one thing that I think a lot of people overall, we just forget about our calves and our shins. And we don't really pay attention to them until our feet start screaming or we get shin splints or, what are the other ones? Some people get Achilles and things like that. Some people actually complain about their actual calves, but that's pretty rare. Normally it's like shin splints. Somebody will get some Achilles or some like feet issues. They might just get it to where they don't feel their calves or they can't get their calves to activate when they're working out, or even though they're not getting growth out of them. All those things pretty much are coming from the same thing. It's all pelvic tilt, but as we've learned here, the byproducts of the pelvic tilt and different alignment issues are what we need to fix by going section by section. So if you were to do this one with any other one, I'd probably do it with next week. Doing your hands and your feet is really good to do. Doing the feet to the shin, to the calves, it's really good. Obviously, I mean, if you have the time in that week to go up from the knee to the hip, then by all means do that, because if you can go from the hip all the way down to the foot, you will have some massive results. That's why I do 4-hour sessions when I work on people. I got one right after this. And it gives me enough time to go through all 4 quadrants of the body. Obviously, with a foam roller, it's probably going to take you 3 times that if you're going to do it, because that's in reality, that's what I tell people they pay me, because I can press harder and longer. And the difference is with a roller, you're having to use your own body, leverage different things. So you're going to get tired. I mean, to do 4 hours of real rolling, like where, I mean, you're actually targeting something and not just kind of playing around would, it'd be really, really draining. You'd be, I don't know if I've ever done 4 hours straight. I don't think we have. You think we ever done? I don't think we've ever done 4 hours straight like that. We might have messed around like doing during a movie, like movies sometimes are like 3 hours long. So maybe we like did something like that, but it's intermittent. You know what I mean? It's like you're going back and forth. You're not sitting there the whole time and rolling. So a good solid hour of rolling targeted is probably the way you want to do it. Like, if you can do more than that, cool, but make sure it's always symmetrical. Don't try and do like just doing it, because the more I do, the more you get into like, I mean, staying on the same side. Like you'll just keep going down here, but then like over here, you only go halfway down, even though you're still doing the same stuff. So make sure that it's always symmetrical. The longer you spend doing stuff, the easier it is for you to get away from making sure that everything is lined up and that you're doing both sides evenly. So let's get to it. I'm going to check with the calves real quick, get a drink of water, and then do a little analysis, and then we'll get to it. So if we can make these bad boys look good, then you know you guys got your money's worth. These are really, really tight. So hopefully, if I mean, you can see they still fire, but they don't. This is what I always talk about when it's up in the back of the knee. Like it shouldn't be like that. Look how high my calf goes, and look how it makes my knee look like it sticks out and it's protruding. So it also pulls up and makes the Achilles issue look more like long and like it continues down from here instead of being a nice ball that the gastroc should be, and then having like a nice dipped in portion right here into the Achilles and soleus and everything. So, and then, this should be a really big dip. I mean, it might be better on my right. That's a little better. But overall, same thing. I mean, it all comes from my work. And again, I wouldn't do what I'm about to do and go work for 5 hours or go do exercise for 5 hours, but I'm going to do it because I just cranked on Sarah's calves last week or on Thursday. So, um, yeah, I need to get it in, and it might be a little much, like crushing calves like 2 times in 3 days. But anyways, if we were going to do it with the Theragun, let me change the camera. It needs to go down a little bit more. If you do the Theragun on your calves, be very careful because it's really easy to leave them sore and like they're pulled. I've made my calves probably, yeah, definitely my calves I've made angry more times with the Theragun than anything else. The other areas of the bodies have the body has bigger muscle bellies, and therefore it's easier to work through them and go layer by layer without aggravating the tissue. But don't stay in one spot with the Theragun, especially on the calves. And typically, if it's yourself going to the foot too, make sure you do your foot too. I'm just going to do around the calf and stuff and get right to it. I know exactly like how to do this. I've done this like hundreds of times on myself. So um, the foot will make it a lot easier to prevent having what I'm talking about happen with the calf. So just do the foot. And in reality, all you want to do is like I was showing you, my calf is reaching up into my knee and we're going to try and drop it out. So that's the entire purpose of today. I'm going to try and take everything from here and pull it down. All right. So with the Theragun, I'm effectively pushing from the knee down to the foot. All right. Is there a way to get the bars and everything off there? Go full screen. Yeah. I can't see half my foot and calf. So very very minimal pressure. I'm just I've got it turned on its side. I'm not going straight on. I've got to turn more on its side. So and that's pretty much how I do the Theragun almost all the time is more on its side because we're driving the tissue into a stretch. So to push straight on, you're going to be basically trigger pointing into the muscle belly. You want to be going across the muscle belly so that way you can take that knot and the tissue that's pulled up here and push it back down there into a stretch. Lengthen it out, and then we'll go in and finish it off with the foam roller. And here, I'll turn here so you can see I got my foot extended. That way, when I go through the whole tibialis area, it makes it basically stretch it even more. So if it's really sensitive and you do that, then just back off. Like put your foot more like this. Okay. So don't make it more sensitive. You never, 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 never in recovery want to be pushing it to the point where it's like got you pulled back like this, where it's a strain or a painful stretch. That doesn't make any sense. You're preventing the nervous system from being calm. And if you're preventing the nervous system from being calm, you are for sure limiting the result of that stretch, that release, whatever it is you're doing. You can also go across the tissue like this. Remember, you can push back in here because there's layers upon layers. So when you feel those cords, you can kind of like go across them, push them into a stretch that way too. You can also get up under them and get to other layers that you wouldn't otherwise be touching. And this is really like peeling away from the shin. So we're like taking the tissue off of the bone more or less. Yes, I go right on the knee, and I go right on the bone. It doesn't matter. I do my head, so it's like they'll tell you like certain things. I mean, I always say if you can ask yourself why and then create a plausible scenario for you to try it, then just try it. Like you're not really going to sit here and punch a hole in your head. You're not going to ruin the bone because you put a pad on it. You know, I'm not taking the super hard thumb and smacking my shin here. You'd be really dense to do that. That I couldn't believe. If anybody ever told me they did that, I don't even know what I would respond with. It's obvious you don't take a super hard tool. You wouldn't take this off and start smacking that against your shin. So just be logical, guys. Just think about, you know, tread carefully. Go from softest to hardest, feel it out, and go from softest. You know, you go from hardest to softest in your effective, you know, attack plan. But go from softest, you know, to hardest, and then go into it when you're testing things out, because you know obviously bone is going to be more sensitive. It's going to be easier for you to aggravate the area. So I still go across it though, because when you're sending vibration through it, guys, you're getting cells to contract and relax. Don't forget that, okay? You start thinking about, oh, I'm just smacking bone. Bone's not going to do anything. That's everything that's taught in the medical field and therapy that's around that. It should be just deleted, but they're never going to delete that. So just delete that from your own thinking, okay? Every single thing that you send stimulation through is going to have a response. Just because you don't see your bone move and contract, okay? Just because you don't go like this and then watch it like, you know, make a spasm or something the way you could get muscle to do, doesn't mean that there's not something happening. And doesn't mean that indirectly you're not affecting the things that are connected to this bone and under, around, on top, everything, you know what I mean? So you need to make sure that you're driving stimulation evenly through these regions, because otherwise don't use this. This is a facilitation device to help you activate things, calm them down, level them out. It's just a balancing buffer, okay? It literally, like when you think of buffers, okay, you take a buffer, you got a bunch of different things that are all different levels, and then you're buffing it out. This is really a perfect example of that. Buffing things with the vibration to where all of these high and low frequencies of different energy and different muscles are all at different energies, because we have different tension. We have all this stuff that messes us up today. This goes in and it smears it all out, more or less, smooths it out, and then buffs it into an even, smooth playing field. Okay, so all the muscles are working together. Now, some of the muscles that were stronger are now a little bit weaker to calm down, and vice versa. You have other ones that are not so strong that are forced to wake up, but they get to kind of a passive playground. And when you do that and then you go in and foam roll, a lot of you people out there who hate foam rolling and have that bitter, sweet relationship with it are going to find that the result will come better and it will be way less painful. And if you get that, immediately you're going to be hooked, because next thing comes the visual representation. Or the physical representation, meaning that you create a positive change in your body through a neurological increase, meaning you're freeing up energy, you're causing your mitochondria to function better, which is literally the defeat of all disease. There's not a doctor who would argue that. If you have a surplus in the mitochondria of energy, you will never have a problem in the body, not tension, not sickness, not nothing. I mean, short of falling off a cliff or something, okay? Trauma is always different. But when you take these things and you do this and you get that result at one time, that's all it took for me and Sarah. And then we were addicted. So that's all I'm going to say about the rest of it. I'm going to buzz this up and then we're going to get to the foam rolling. But just make sure that, you know, don't neglect anything, and make sure you take your time with it. I will say this is probably the most sensitive area of the body, one of them. Okay, like if you with the gun, if you start going on the inside of your calf here, I'm a veteran with this, and it still lets me know that if you do something a little too much, it's gonna cause that nerve and everything to contract and stay spasm. So be careful when you do this, and that's why I say go at the sideways and don't apply much pressure. The least amount of pressure you can apply, and go over things is better, because it'll start to get things to sink together, and then you'll be able to feel them, you know, melt. And when you do, what's still hard, you can just kind of graze over until it starts to even out with the rest. down on the Achilles is going to feel a different kind of hard. That's a tendon kind of hard. Okay. So make sure that you're not going over like the IT band or the Achilles tendon or any of these areas and treating it the same way you look at like how a muscle feels. Okay. If you get up around the quad belly and stuff like that, go hit that and feel that kind of hard versus this. This is going to feel more like fibrosy, okay? So don't try and massage your Achilles into a nice soft piece of tissue. That you don't want that, okay? You do not want soft ligaments. You do not want soft tendons. You want the things to soften up that have an actual response, which is going to be our muscle belly. So stay through them. I just wanted to warn you guys of that. When I went over it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. Um, but it feels like it's softening up, but it's always going to have this different type of texture. So be aware of that when you mess with the Achilles. So you see, it's like all about like quick strokes and or long strokes, and then you're basically trying to always like press in and kind of drive that tissue into a stretch. Using that the same way I talk about when you try and create that rug burn kind of sensation. Try and create a contact and like grab the skin so it like pulls into that knot and actually makes it go in a direction instead of just across it or smashing it or whatever most people just wave it over and do. Um, all right, let's check these. Let's check these knot bad boys out. So yeah, I'm trying to get this. It's starting to like come down a little bit. It doesn't. It's still there, but we need to get it in like more like that. See how the belly drops immediately? Watch. I'll cheat right now. I mean, you can do this yourself. Just take your fingers and pull right into here, and you'll feel two huge straps of cords go right down the back of your calf, and you can pull them apart like it did on Sarah's calf. Yeah, get a little dropping down there. All right, I'm not gonna mess with it like this. Let's get to the foam rolling. Oh yeah. You don't want my big mug all up in. We always go back over the videos, and I'm like, oh, butt shot. Didn't even realize. All right. Okay. Using a roller for your calves, if you're going to get into it, like This does like nothing. And even though like I can feel it here, so I'm just gonna kind of prop up and get up at the top here and just warm up at the top. Kind of encouraging, going up behind the knee and then just pulling. So I got my body, like my butt is like dragging across the floor. So I'm like creating weight to pull down across those calf muscles, almost as if to like act, use your weight to benefit the way that you can pull on the muscle. Because it's really hard to get leverage. I'm gonna have to show you guys. Basically, I'm gonna do it with Sarah holding my feet, but it's no different than I have a bench over there that my TV's sitting on. And then couches. I got stools over there. I got ends, like long end kind of, or end tables. Long end tables that make no sense. Some kind of like, what am I trying to say there, man? Like cabinets, over there you could hook your feet on. There's stuff, I mean, you have to look. Sometimes, I don't know, some modern houses I've gone into, I look around and people are like, I don't really have anything. And I'm thinking in my head, like, yeah, sure, you don't have anything you can hook your feet on in your house. And then I go there and I'm like, wow, you really have like nothing to hook your feet on. This is crazy. I had one client in Arizona. She like took me on a tour of her house. It was massive. And I couldn't believe that not one of like, the only thing she had was this weird table, and it was like super hard steel, like almost like wrought iron looking stuff, but it was like this steel table. And so she had to like get a towel and a pillow and everything and like hook her feet under that, but she made it work and she couldn't believe it, We got her calves to drop, and then lo and behold, imagine like stripping somebody's entire like waist, shoulders, everything through the glutes, pelvis, all that, and then not seeing it like really change a whole lot, and then getting down to the calves, and it was like two just huge releases, boom boom through here, like what we're doing. And then she stood up and it was like the whole thing dropped. It was amazing. The waist went from like here to like this. It brought it back. Like it looked like she had this kind of pooch under the belly that had some good size to it, but there was obviously no weight. She was like 10% body fat. All right, so if you don't have anything to hook your feet on, if you're on the fly, excuse me, guys, cross your feet one over the next. Sometimes I like to do, it's easier if I do this, I'll hook onto stuff. Now, right where the calf meets the soleus, or the gastroc meets the soleus, so where the meat of your calf starts to get smaller, where that ball is, you want to get right below that. And I'm going to show you something here. I'm actually going to challenge myself to see how well. I'm not even picking myself up. So when you find those little tender spots, those little like sensitive spots that are kind of hard, you can get right on it. And as long as you dig in and feel that cord, sometimes not pressing allows you to really get an idea of what way that muscle needs to be pulled, what way that cord, that fiber, that strand that you're feeling, like which way do you have to drive it. And sometimes people just go overkill, like they're trying to abuse themselves with the roller. And I mean, if you have like the money to like indulge in some good therapy and you got that like masochist type stuff, I mean, go get some cupping or some gusha or like gushi, whatever people say it all different. Go try something crazy like that, the roller and stuff. I mean, it's really not like even an effective thing to like abuse yourself with, You can't even really do anything. That's why people leave themselves bruised and stuff, where they feel like they just kind of penetrated the surface and aggravated it. But I mean, it's really hard to mess yourself up with a roller. I had it happen to me with my shoulder, where it slipped off my shoulder. No lie, the injury in my shoulder was from a tweak hyperextending doing 2 stability ball exercise after a 2-month break in between 24-hour and lifetime. And I just tweaked it. It wasn't even like a real thing. But I was foam rolling that night, and I kid you not, it slipped off my shoulder and hit me right in my C3 and shut the whole nerve right off. So, I mean, it's possible, but that's like the only way I could see yourself harming yourself with a roller, and that was a freak thing. Sarah thought I was kidding at first. But I mean, if I didn't hold my arm in, these muscles wouldn't turn on and it would go. I'm saying C3 now. I remember. Yeah, it might have been C4. I always mess those nerves up. Good thing to go back and study. All right, so more or less, I'm getting right here. See, you can actually see it turn on now. That's right where I was at. Look at that. See how much more it hangs right through there? And all I did was just massage. But look what you don't see. Look at this. Good night. That looks wrong. This looks like something you see on a butcher table, you know, like with the hard, like this whole area right here, just a band of like tendony. So we're going to try and target that a little bit. We're going to try and actually get to the outside of it. Because it's like you can see how much like meatier the calf is getting to that. But getting here is more going to be like similar to how we roll the outside of the hip. So we're going to. Now, I mean, in reality, you don't even need a whole lot of pressure here. So I'm just going to kind of use my other foot here, and I'm just pressing down on it and getting up on some spots. I want to show you how little you can do. Because like I said, people like turn foam rolling into like a circus act. And they're just, I see some videos online, I'm like, what are they doing? Would they try and combine like foam rolling into an exercise? Or foam rolling and exercise, and it's really, they should never be put together. I mean, I've used foam rollers to balance with. I'm not going to say that you can't do that. That's a good idea. Push-ups with the foam roller, that's really awesome. That really helps you with people who have wrist issues, getting into stability exercises, plank exercises, and stuff like that. But I mean, other than doing stuff like that, like stability exercises using it, but people try and turn the actual act of foam rolling, like for relief, into an exercise, and it should not be that. It should not be something where you're like balancing and doing all this crazy stuff. It should be just doing whatever you have to do to put enough pressure, but only just, you know, more of a little amount of pressure, whatever you can do to get that response. Like right here, not a whole lot of pressure, and I'm right on that cord. And if I lift it up, it'd probably be just more painful for no reason because it's still melting. And now I'm dragging it down towards the foot, right down what's called the perennials, where everybody gets that numbness going in the side of your foot. If you get that, shin splints down the side or front, that's right in this region. All right, let's see. Look, it's a lot. It's just rounder through here. It doesn't look so bony up at the top. See how down there it still does? But up here it's starting to get like where it actually is going round. If I take it off of here, you get more contraction up here, which is what I want. So I can feel it pull higher. All right, now I'm going to go straight onto it. I'm going to show you how to do like a hardcore shin roll where you use your whole body weight. And I'm always super sensitive about this because you can see my bony, always good slaughter right there. Man, I used to get hit in that as a kid. It would drop me to my knees in like tears. What? Yeah, I was going to do it. I like to do this. So here I'm just really just going to kneel on it. And then I'll go down and kind of position. See what Sarah says. She says she likes to do 2 on it. Yeah, but I don't know. You can go right down the bridge of the bone in the middle. My son thinks I was doing it to him. This is a good just like warm-up shin roll, but this is like, again, this is like an exercise for me. All right, itchy nose, of course. Every time you get a good spot, my nose itches. right there. I was just digging out right through here. Get it to come off some of it, but we need to get some more pressure. So I'm gonna have Sarah come over and simulate the couch. Come here, babe. Be my couch. Be my love seat. Okay. Single leg always. You can do double leg if you want. I try and get it like, okay, so if you hooked your foot like so. Should we get some more brightness down there, you think? Or do you think it's good? My foot. Yeah, let's see if we can get a little bit more light. Yeah, there we go. So if my foot was on the floor or anywhere hooked under, like at her mom's house before we came here, out in the apartment, there's a railing, just like a wrought iron railing. And basically, I just hooked my foot under that. Once you hook it, go ahead, put your foot or your hand. So once your foot's hooked, then you kind of, like, you got to put your weight on, so I can't move. She doesn't want to simulate the real thing. So see, like you'd hook your foot and then you scoot back a little bit, and that'll get you some massive pressure here. I got a good lock on this right in through here on the inside. You're going to feel a knot that goes across. So I'm taking my knee and pulling it this way, taking my knee and pulling it this way. You're going to find that knot. You want to take that knot and you want to smash into it and you want to push through it without allowing it to go over. I'm talking you want to drag across those fibers. Feel like you're taking the top of it and smearing it and pushing it until it's just going to stretch to a point of limit, and that sensory will freak out and relax it. And of course, we're not even pushing it to where it's close to harming it because we're right on it locally, okay? We would typically have this, being leveraged from our foot, like I'd be doing calf raises or running or walking, but we're going straight on it. So what the sensory thinks is really bad is really not bad at all, no harm at all. Ooh, now going back to the right. Well, wasn't feeling anything before, now going back to the right, I feel a ton. So you can see how you sweep through the layers and those fibers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it also depends on how much you can handle. Starting to melt away. You can take your knee too, lean back on it, keep some pressure on there, and go back through it again. Give it a little shake. Yeah, and you're stretching the whole front and elongating everything through the tibialis and the anterior chain. Remember, anterior is front, posterior is back. Yeah, see, now I'm going deeper. Ooh, that was a good pop. Wow. I don't even know what that was. I honestly don't. And that doesn't happen very often. I think that might have been like a fascial connection because my calves are pretty bad, They don't hurt me. But what does that mean? You know what I mean? It's like relative. It's like you go into the gym and you beat the crap out of yourself and you're just like, no, but I'm good. But, we're resilient. It doesn't mean that we're good. But sometimes, those fascial connections will happen where something's linked up in the body's used it to build support. And it's just released. It felt like up in the shin, like right behind here, more or less on this side here. So, and shin splints are more or less the body fusing your calf to your shin. So when you get shin splints, you know that you ain't got nobody to blame but yourself. And when I get shin splints just from my work and I'll like lean forward and it'll just fry down both sides. Yeah, I know that I've just completely ignored my calves. To get shin splints, you have to completely ignore your calves. I'm just telling you, just to be honest.
The bigger the shoe, too, the more common you get shin splints. The thicker the sole.
Yeah, the more messed up the shoe choice you have also. So, and that could be, Sarah said, the sole, and there's a few variables that come into a bad shoe. The big one is like the placement of the support. That's one huge one. The sole is the biggest for sure. Because the sole, the bigger it is, the more uneven the wear pattern is. The worse it is, the longer you wear it. And Ooh, there we go. Now I can go straight down the center. It felt like it was on the complete left side. Now I feel it's all the way in the middle, most of the way across through the inside. Ooh, yeah. Feels so good. I can already feel the blood. When you do the calves like this, you can just feel the blood like opening before you even stand up. And when you feel that, you know when you stand up, you're gonna feel like you can high kick and river dance. We used to deal with a lot of like Cirque du Soleil people, so when you tell them river dance, they don't really like it. It's kind of like a funny Vegas joke thing. Oh, there you go. Ooh, that felt like now I can feel so much more travel with that. Yeah, look at how far down that is off here, where my knee looks so bulged. Wow, look at that. That was not there. A lot better. Look at that knee. Look at the knee move now. That's awesome. Yep, see, you can actually see it dip in here. It's dropped down a lot. This whole thing is moving through. A lot better contraction through there. But the big one is, look at that. The knee doesn't look like dysfunctional and stuff. It's like just, this is like all forward down. This one's even getting better. It's awesome. Like I can sit more on my right and it makes my left better even. Yeah, it's all this just gets less bulky. So I'm going to try and go for the high point on this calf. I'm going to break my rule again. So I'm going to do another point on this calf and then I'm going to move on because this is radiating right up in here and I don't want to wait. So now here's the other point that you really want to test out. So go ahead. So with this one, if you see my foot, back up some bit. Let go. Your foot would be more like this if you're hooking it under something. You're not going to get this one on the floor, okay? If you do, you've got some amazing range in your plantar and dorsiflexion, and I surely don't. I mean, I do. I have better than the average, I would say. You know what I mean? But I could feel right now if I went too much further, it's going to cramp. Go ahead. So you just want it to be where you still have to hold it hard. Yeah. You just want it to be where it's pointed, but you can get pressure on that high point. And now you can really, really feel everything that pulls and what's hooked into the back of that knee. More pressure there. And just grind it. You gotta keep my heel on the ground so I can. Yeah, I still be like hooked under a couch or whatever. Yeah, now I can really leverage it the way I would. And when you can, then you can go up and down, just scrape these layers away. More or less, that's what it feels like, one by one. I go up and back. Sometimes I'll twist like this, and I'm hitting the inside of the knee. Yeah, this is like makes my leg go numb. Make sure you breathe. Read the book Breath by James Nestor. Awesome book. All through your nose. I mean, there are some things that like breathing techniques that use your mouth, but try it all through your nose. Like 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Get it. All right. Some ones don't take that long before you not really tap out, but wow, my foot just got some blood. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that took it, that annoying throb I had. Yeah, look. It's like dropping down now. It doesn't look bony. It looks like muscle. See? Look at the knee. Look at the separation. You see all the cords in the back that are still like super angry. Look at the quad up on the outside. How much higher it went. These are perfect to do on here because there's no question if these things change. So, yeah, it's just you got more of the V coming down through here and everything. Obviously, it's easier to see on somebody like Sarah who has no hair through her. But definitely looking a lot better. That's what we wanted. Let's let's crank on the other side and see what we can do. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, no, I was wondering if you're gonna do all this stuff.
What other stuff?
All the other stuff we're doing this stuff.
No, I'm gonna go straight to the calf first. So I'm just gonna go straight to the calf on this one. I'm gonna try like on here. I feel low, so there's another way here. If you could find something to hook your foot on like this, like a chair or sometimes couches are higher up and you can do it, or beds sometimes work, but anything you can hook your foot on. Right here is a massive knot. I'm gonna have to do this on the other side, I know. But right where the Achilles runs, the soleus, everything, all these things that through the calcaneus that reach into your foot, this is an amazing spot. Yeah, this one's like, I've already released like just a little bit of it, and it's just sending flow all the way. Ooh, doesn't hurt. Just got like little sharp sensitive spots. They're like good pain. So you've seen we've gone through basically 3 points. I've done like here, a little bit higher than here, and then all the way up. So kind of like low, middle, high. Ooh, this is a good spot. Can you put pressure on my shin? I'm gonna have Sarah cheat. So if you guys are helping somebody who can't feel it, if you're training, put your pressure in the palm on the outside, like in the back. Yeah, right there. If you're helping somebody or a client, a friend, or somebody who I can't get my calves, and they're not gonna come up off the ground, this is just incredible. Flexed and extended. So you want to basically pull the foot or push the foot and then do all three of these spots with somebody helping you with pressure. And that somebody is either going to be an inanimate object, some kind of stability device like a railing or a couch or something, or it's going to take two hands from a human being. You could even make stuff for this, like something that's easy to hook your foot under off a wall. Ooh, yeah. Now when it sweeps over, it's just pulling that cord across. And if you go slow enough, you'll just feel it melt and roll over. If you go too fast, you'll feel it and just slip out from under you. It's starting to melt. And I want to go faster, but I'm not going to. Oh, wow. This is going like so deep into the ankle. Basketball is my thing, guys, and jumping is even more my thing. I think I wouldn't even like basketball if it didn't have jumping. But I was always 5'9", trying to jump over people's heads who were like 6'5", and these areas get really affected. But these areas are also what make you fly. I mean, literally fly. I mean, I'm 5'9", but I could jump 70-inch boxes, 3 boxes on top of each other. And I'm not even kidding. I probably could have done it like in high school, but I was so tight through my hips all the way down. And all of a sudden, when I like really learned how to jump was in my adult years, like my late 20s, when me and Sarah started getting into recovery like this. I started foam rolling and I'd release stuff, and I went out and like a box that was challenging the week before, I'd go up and like my boys were like, dude, what the heck? Like you almost ate it on that last week. It was like 30-inch box, or like 36-inch box. And like the week before, I was barely getting my feet up over. And then me and Sarah would like just OCD, marathon some shows and just foam roll. Like certain weekends, that's just the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be all preoccupied with all this crap, and then you go and spend a whole weekend just taking the family, chilling out, doing nothing, foam rolling like crazy. This is amazing. This is like euphoric what's happening in my ankle right now. And you end up feeling like just high afterwards, this euphoria, like what I'm talking about right now, these feelings right now, how good I know I'm going to feel the rest of the day. My brain is immediately like, you can't change, you can't deny that feeling. Like if you truly create it, because there's an endorphin rush that's happening right now. There's a pleasure stimulation that's going on at the pleasure epicenter. The dopamine is going to change because of it. Serotonin's going to burst because I got this bright light in my face. I'm just kidding. That is true though, but because of the curve of this, there's going to be a natural high and euphoria that comes over the body. But then your mitochondrial function is going to boost up. So guess what that is? It's going to overload that cell. Those cells are going to be good to go and be like, hey, everybody else needs some help. And then therein lies the truth. One system affects every other system. But these kind of things can affect your whole body, and a miserable kind of situation can be turned around physically, physiologically, emotionally, spiritually, everything from your physical body. I'm not to say that this is going to fix everybody's all four of those. I'm just saying each one of those can be affected by this, and your physical body and these trigger points are a representation of your inside body too. So don't ignore that, because I've had like many bad days. Like this is unbelievable. The feeling that just having your foot, I mean, like it shuts off everything you're thinking about currently. And if I wasn't doing this for a teaching for you guys, I would just be stuck stupid, like staring like I am right now. It's a good sign when your brain starts to kind of get like somebody comes up and asks you something and you're like, what? Because right now that's, oh my gosh, I don't know what that was, but that just totally made me go from pleasure to, ow, that hurts so bad. So that was definitely like that felt like a pocket of scar tissue just exploded. And all of these like crinkly, like kind of nerve sensations just happened. Like it wasn't ready to react as it opened. All those areas weren't ready to respond the same way. So you got this sharp pain. So sometimes you'll get some dormant layers. Scar tissue's purpose is to calm a overstimulated nerve, like a nerve that's like just screaming. It's like putting band-aids on it until eventually it spreads out that signal and you can't feel it anymore. Oh, this is awesome. We got to do this to the other leg. And guys, I mean, no joke, everything I'm doing, just walking it up, all I'm doing is feeling one line and going from the bottom to the top, and then just holding it. But with calves, the only thing I needed to show you guys with this today, and I'm just doing it, making it a longer video because you need to spend time on the calves. You need to be gentle with them and ease into them and work and work and work and work and then get into stuff. Don't try and go fast. And don't try and do it quickly. The calves need time, at least the first time. Wait till you're going to do it and have an hour or so, or a couple hours. But just melting this is going to change everything. The way the foot sits, the way the whole knee sits. And you just need pressure. You need somebody to help you, or you need something to help you. That's all I needed to show you today was this. It's just how to get pressure on your calves. Every time I do a video on that, like once a year I'll do one, and people end up going, oh my gosh, that was incredible. Like that was what was missing from my calf rolling experience. I'm like, yeah, and you probably deleted your knees down. And they're like, I did. I would roll my feet, but that's it. Calves like just never had any success with. It's easier to get these muscles to leverage to where you can get behind the knot and push it. But it's like the calves, you can't get enough pressure to get behind the knot and push it. It's like you're just pushing across the surface, and that's why people, make them angry and bruised. But once you break through scar tissue and stuff, guys, it can feel like nothing at first, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck is that? So those are good signs that you get into areas. Ooh. Can't wait to do that on the other side. Look at how dope that looks right now, just sitting there. Dope. My favorite word. My mom used to get so mad. My dad. What is this dope thing? Oh, look at that. Straight. Better. Look, it's not. And this is the left, guys. I was working all that other time I was working on here, so then just one little set there. Look at that. Off the knee. Doesn't look nearly as bony. Cool. Look at that. Athletic looking here, not nearly as bony. Can we get some more inversion? Yeah, look at that. So much better. Off one. I didn't check that on this side. See, even better than this side. And this is my good one. This is my jumping leg. I'm left-handed. So this calf on here is just from what we did there. I think this one, I would argue, almost looks better. Yeah, this one's not even firing nearly as much. So let's see what me and Sarah can do with this one. Actually, I'm gonna do a little hangover stretch, guys. So I'm just gonna hang. See, I'm straight here. Bend your knees, guys. Go straight and then bend in and sit into here and sit into here, because you're either gonna lean back and pull across more to the front, lean forward, pull more across the back, dip down, feel more in the hamstrings, straighten out, feel more in the calves. Yeah. Well, I can't even get this to drop now because of how bound this is. So I wonder how much this is going to drop once we release this. I try and get this to straighten into a stretch, and right there pulls because of this. It's wild. That's why you got to be symmetrical, guys. This side is on the right is so inhibited right now. And just what I did on the left is got this to where I can straighten it completely out. And look how this one is like, the other side's like that. All right, so let's get to it. Help me out, baby. A little coffee. Sarah's seasonal brew.
That's bulletproof. I can't take care of that.
All right, let's go with that low one. Right there, yeah. Hit that Achilles area. Whew. I hope I got some time before my client. Go ahead. So I'm gonna take a little nap. This is gonna make me feel want to go to sleep again. I mean, that is just the most amazing feeling around. It literally cut the whole backside away from the ankle. Nothing like it. And these are just screaming joy, you know. This is like pain. I could add 10 times this kind of good pain, and it would just be pure pleasure. Because these are the spots when you feel that you know your body is like, finally, golly. It's like when you hand a fat person, and when I say fat, remember, I mean like somebody who's fat is like 100 pounds overweight. And I don't say obese, because like obese, I would say it's like somebody who's even worse than that to me. You know, like obese could be different things. Some people can carry weight and not like really have dealt with the internal issues and stuff. But when you hand somebody who's really like heavy a good glass of structured water, they'll look at it like candy. And it's because their palate, their body is screaming for them to do it, you know, to drink as much as you can, get as much as you can. And they always, all of my friends, you know, are old clients who are like pretty heavy, and they drink it. They're like, why is this so dang good? And I explained it to them. Same as this, you know, like me right now, my body's like, geez, knucklehead. Like all this time, I've been trying to tell you to open these up. Right there's good night. That's amazing. And this one's way better. It feels so much better than the other side, because this is my jumper leg. This is my leg I explode off of. Jesus, excuse me. I drink coffee down the wrong throat. This is the leg. I mean, it's probably millions of times I've jumped off in this leg. And that's no exaggeration. I used to play basketball from like 7 in the morning until 3 or 4 in the morning some days. And that was when there were no leagues. I used to play basketball till like 3 or 4 in the morning. I'd shoot the basket and I'd run as fast as I could to make sure when it would hit that it wouldn't even touch the ground. Or I don't know how my neighbors didn't kill me. That's why houses are like, a lot of them now are built to be like bomb-proof on sound. Ooh, that just released. I'm going deeper, going back across now. Wow. Amazing. This is just nothing short of amazing. There's not a lot of things that make me say that, but obviously it's because I haven't been hitting my calves. I've been just rolling and doing other stuff, but I can feel length being given to my glute right now. The outside of my calf right there is screaming and stretch. It's like loving it. But right here in my hip, is where I actually feel this whole band across here is actually what's opening the most right now. And this is opening, and as this lengthens down through the rectus femoris, I can feel it pulling like that and then sweeping over and going up under here. As that happens, this whole sheath is coming up off there, and that's what's going to make the foot release, not the foot tension. Figure that out. So now there's a spot in the foot that actually is holding it. It's shifted from here. I don't feel it there. That's releasing now, just like I said. But now, as this releases, so you'll feel that shift. I felt where it was coming from. So obviously that layer that had built up at whatever point in my life, yada, yada, was, coming from the hip, and it was affecting the foot. So it could have been sometime I landed a certain way or whatever it was and slammed, and it jarred right into the hip, locked there. And because of that, that was preventing good gait on my foot and knee. But now, as that layer is released, guess what? I'm now feeling the ankle going to release, and I'm feeling a pull. Guess where? Right here. So this layer, at some point in my life, from there to there, from that to the knee, the ankle, something happened around through there, jarred up, and it caused me to have a big effect on the knee. So this is what doing foam rolling correctly and spending the time on, what it really does. Oh, but you can't do this. PhDs say you're an idiot. I've literally been called an idiot and a fool to say that it's, and it's the dumbest thing. Okay, this right here is said by the PhDs is the dumbest thing I could ever do. So stupid to bring relief. The body just takes hours of static pressure, weird, dynamics that we create with weird leverage and just weird positional, postural things and movement-based things and work things and family things, all these different things, car things, plane things. Think about all these different postural things. We're setting ourselves up for like a time bomb, but we set ourselves up with a time bomb. It's just time that kills us, okay? The body was meant to be free-flowing and moving and everything. Look at the whole design of it. It's meant to be a floating matrix of a shock absorber. It's meant to take on the pressure of life, literally in the physical sense, and shift it around so that it doesn't put pressure on one spot more than another. And look at your life. If you feel one pressure in career or family or whatever more than another, it can drive you nuts. And that's because none of that, everything was meant to be balanced out. Oh, this is insane. It's almost too much because no, don't let go. I didn't say let go. Meaning, like I stayed on this so long that my foot is like kind of like, it's not numb yet, but it's obviously losing some control like towards that. But oh my gosh, dude, this cord is going to release and feel like heaven. There's no way it's going to feel like heaven, but you know what I mean. Oh, that's so good. Oh, wow. It felt just pulling this up. Look at that. Dang. I told you just my jumper leg. Look how thick that just got. That, you guys got to admit that. Look how big my calf looks now, guys. That's way bigger. Look at this. You could slap this around. Rewind that and go look at my calf before. Look at the hamstring belly. I'm telling you, dude. People think that, like, look how, I wanted you guys to see this because look at that. Look at how that dips off one spot. We didn't even do up here the same way we did that other one. We did some stuff, but we did not drag and pull like we're about to real quick once Sarah's hands are better. I got to take a little, like, 2-second break on this anyways. Normally we haven't had to do that in any other session, but the calves are definitely different. When I pulled this back and pulled the Achilles here, unreal how it's just completely open, guys. Wow. Unbelievable. That's, man, have you posted any of the free ones yet, babe? Have we? Oh, okay. So a little announcement that the free ones, we got a couple of them up. We'll have to post that up. It's on Vimeo. So, oh, vimeo.com/muscle whisper. Josh or no? No, just muscle whisper. Yeah, off the knee. So much better, guys. So much control. Unbelievable. I can't believe. Oh, it doesn't even pull on anything. Wow. Now I need to go up further because I got this pull on the inside of my knee and stuff that I don't have on this left. That was cool, man. All right. Let's wrap this up. I just want to do that same spot that we did across the line with Sarah on my other leg. And then we'll be good for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys are doing this. I mean, spend the time, guys. Spend the time. Therapy is quick. This is quick. That's incredible. That could change somebody's life, what just happened right through there. It will change my life. Like I already feel better right now. No joke. And I told you, and I will repeat it again, and I will harp it forever, that your extremities and your hands and your feet, what we're going to go through next week, I put a whole week on hands and feet for a reason. You're reciprocating energy, you're reciprocating flow, you're reciprocating circulation, you're reciprocating hydration. All of those things come from how well you can get things to come back from the furthest points from your heart. That right there, that restriction, I can feel it's like the floodgates are smashing back into my knee now, whereas they were trying to like turn around and they were hitting a traffic jam. Now there's no traffic jam and it's just coming back and smashing right back up to my knee. This flow is just going like crazy. And you saw it. My calf belly was like a big old ball compared to when I started. And it should be. This leg right now, it's like ripped over here compared to what it was. You see that little ball? And this should be this thing right here. I mean, all my buddies who are like 250 pounds used to joke like, "Oh, you don't know nothing about legs, man." I'm like, "Oh, you wouldn't last 10 minutes in a plyo workout with me." That was always the joke between us, you know. And it's you know, jumping in plyos and everything that has to do with it you're flying. There's no better recruitment exercise in the world, meaning there's nothing that turns on more in your body than jumping. And I'm not saying that like I've been destroyed, okay, like incapacitated from leg workouts, like Iris Kyle, Miss Olympia. Like, I'm not saying bodybuilders cannot blow me out in legs. I don't even like training legs with bodybuilders because they know that I've done the whole plow thing with them, and then they intentionally are trying to kill me. It's not fun. But don't sleep on the plyos. And I would always have them come in the next day. And they would always come in the next day. And when I would see them, I'd be like, "So how about your abs?" And I was like, "How do you know it was my abs and not my legs?" Well, you do maximal jumps if you're out there and you're a bodybuilder or something like that, or an athlete or whatever. Maximal jumps, you know, jumping as high as you can. Even if you're like jumping over a box that's like lower, then jump as high as you can. Pull your knees as high as you can. Snap them up. You know, plyo jumping is not about being the best jumper. It's about being the most limber. You're literally trying to put your head between your legs as far as you can and then come up under it. But let me tell you, if your calves and everything through here, what we're doing is tight, you're good luck. You're not going to get this to extend. And you know, people come up like think they're going to be a better plyo jumper because they're taller, and it works against you. It's better to be like me. Right around 5'9" to 6 foot is the best for plyo jumping because you have a good like length ratio, length to size ratio of your body from limb length to total body size ratio. If you're some 6'8" dude, getting your legs up over a box is near impossible. So let's do this. Let's go up to that. Let's just go ahead. So get me started about the plyo. Anywhere. Just put it so I can position it. Yeah, the whole inside line. So I was feeling the inside of my knee immediately after she let off doing the other side. I mean, it felt so good, but immediately the inside of my knee was just pulling. And if I had left it, the rest of it would have started pulling more and more and more. And by the end of the day, it probably would have been fully aggravated and spasmed. And then good luck. It'll take you 4 or 5 days to get it to calm down. You'll get it out of pain, don't get me wrong, but it'll take you a good week to get it to calm down. So if you do something, I mean, that's why I say just stick to the 14-minute rule of doing 5 minutes on each spot, 2-minute stretch, and only do the stuff like we're doing here. When you've got an allotted hour, go tell your family, if you're not bleeding, leave me alone, and just go at it. Because the feeling that you're having here, I mean, good night. If you're doing that, and go get your hubby or your wife and say, hey, leave the kids alone, leave whatever you're doing, get in here and do the same thing. I'm going to go watch them. Trust me, the time in that, it amplifies life. I swear that's why life feels like time goes so fast. Because your body, your mind, it all sucks. Like it's all just overloaded, irritated, and therefore you just want to blast through it.
So it's important to do like this maintenance stuff, foam rolling, stretching, and detoxing and cleansing. Everything physically, we need to take off that load and make it more part of our daily routine, and make it more important as a part of every 3 months that we do detoxing and cleansing, and make it part of your routine too with your workouts, adding in foam rolling and stretching, because it'll make a big difference. It'll make a big difference in your quality of life too.
It is the quality of life. Quality of life comes from stability in all systems. Homeostasis, that's what it means. It means you go assessing each part of your every system is every part of your life too. So assessing each one of those and seeing where the loads are, spreading it out, figuring out what to get rid of. Ooh, come on. So leaning back, you can see even with pressure certain times, just adding some stretch across the top can actually help facilitate the bottom to release and elongate. Time to go to the middle. Ooh, make a faces. I don't care. I want you guys to see the real deal. I handle it better than most, but when you handle it, you just get better at not making faces. Otherwise, you're not rolling. Like if you get to where, oh, it's just nothing, I feel like, I don't care if you're in perfect condition and stuff, you're still creating hot spots in your body. And you're still going to hit certain ones that, even though you have an amazing pain tolerance, that's kind of more of the shock. Because you go in and be like, whoa, okay, I still feel it. Like the supple leopard, I guess it's definitely, I bet you still feels the stuff. So I know I do, even in my best times.
The calves to me were the hardest to get used to, because I would always leave myself feeling sore or bruised, but he would always tell me I didn't go hard enough. So when you feel like you can handle a certain amount of pressure, try and challenge yourself to go a little bit more, because even though the calves are small, they're still just as deep as the rest of our muscles. So that was always my problem whenever I started foam rolling my calves. The next day I felt so sore, and I would have to go back in a few days later and do it again, but go a little bit harder on the pressure, and it made a huge difference. I actually felt freedom instead of feeling more constricted. What's that? More pressure. Oh, sorry. Nah. Sorry, I can't talk and add pressure.
Right there, I just had to tell myself, relax. And right when I did, it just started sinking and melting the knot. But I was preventing the knot from melting because I was tensing. Oh, man, come on. Come on.
How much do we do that to ourselves on a daily basis?
Just keep sweeping back and forth, guys. That's all I'm doing here. Pressure going up, down, then going across and dragging everything into a nice stretch, feeling those hard spots and melting them away. And digging deeper, leaning back, more pressure, and doing it again. Just don't go over those cords. And don't forget to breathe. Wow, look at that. You can even see 2 lines now. Both of them all from the tib. Oh, wow. So much blood flow. Might have to have you help me do my left when we're done here. All right. Man, I could just fall down. Okay, now I got that. Yep, now I can feel both of them even on my pull. Pretty even. Oh my goodness, guys. I hope you guys did this one. Oof. Trying to think of what to even describe. It's just like, that's like that euphoric feeling. I don't even really feel cold or light in my calves. They were so beat up. I just feel complete like endorphin rush, relief, just peace to my nervous system. Like I can breathe better. I feel like there's less pressure on my heart. And when you think about your extremities and how much of a strain that causes to not have it free down there to flow back to the heart, it's a big stress. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel this. I didn't do anything up here. I put more pressure. I should feel more tension here from the, the ridiculous positions you put yourself into to foam roll. But it's overall just like, just everything feels like it moves better. Even though my shoulders are still tight, it creates a sound kind of blending. And if you created, we had to have created inches upon inches in numerous lines. And because of that, that's all inches that are going to translate to up here. As your body is moving and transitioning throughout the day, it's going to be doing the same thing in its tissues. It's going to be transitioning different pressures and different loads, applying them, I should say, to different areas with different loads and freeing it up as your body. That's why I say take the books off the t-shirt, and then throughout your days, you'll retrain that t-shirt. You'll wash it, you'll wear it. And those are what do it. You have to retrain those nerves. But now that I've created this massive amount of length in both my legs here, the whole body is going to feel that. The pelvis is going to be different. Every step is going to be different. When I work, it's going to be different. My calves get really beat up through the day. So we'll see how it works here after I, have to work after doing it, but I'll be fine. My upper was what's really the thing that's been nagging me recently. So I know this is going to help with that. But thanks, guys. We'll be here Thursday for the last week of this block, and then we're going to start going into some different stuff. So stay tuned. It's going to be, hands and feet next week, but then we're going to be going into some advanced modalities. We're going to be switching it up and trying to create some more. We're going to try and get creative. We're going to try and show you stuff that people have never seen before. We're going to try and show you stuff that we've never done before. So we want to keep it interesting, but we also want to create faster ways. The whole purpose of this is to create faster and more effective ways to make you guys feel better, to make us feel better. So I feel better, so I can work on people better, so those people feel better, and so you guys feel better. And so if you choose to work on people, friends and family, or just yourself, that we can all be better, happier, quicker, because nobody has time. And with situations like we got going on now, we just got to get stuff done because we don't know when we'll have time. So I love you guys. We'll see you on Thursday. I hope you have a great day, rest of the weekend.